Who's Who on the Battlefield. Doolittle. Aviation pioneer, highly educated and decorated military leader, James Harold Doolittle was born on December 14, 1886, to Frank and Rosa Doolittle. When his son was young, Frank moved to Nome, Alaska, to take part in the gold rush there. Little Jimmy and his mother moved to be with his father 2 years later. At age 16, James became an amateur boxing champion. He attended the Los Angeles Junior College and the University of California's School of Mines from 1914 through 1917, and in October 1917, he took a leave of absence to enlist as an air cadet in the Army Reserves. On Christmas Eve that year, Doolittle wed his high school sweetheart, Josephine Jo Daniels. They had 2 boys, James Jr. and John. Both boys followed their father into the Air Corps. Unfortunately, Jimmy and Joe lost James in 1958, age 38, to suicide. Jimmy and Joe had a long-lasting marriage. It ended with her death on December 24, 1988, exactly 71 years since they took their vows. Doolittle trained as a cadet in the Signal Corps. He received schooling at the University of California's School of Aeronautics, as well as Rockwell Field. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Corps' Aviation section on March 11, 1918. He served at Camp Dick, Texas, Wright Field in Ohio, as well as Grosvenor Field in Louisiana, before returning to Rockwell as a flight leader and gunnery instructor. Then he was assigned to the 104th Aero Squadron, Kelly Field, Texas. After this assignment, he did a tour of duty patrolling the country's southern border with the 90th Squadron based at Eagle Pass, Texas. On the 1st of July 1920, Jimmy earned a regular commission. He enrolled in the Air Service Mechanical School at Kelly Field, then took an aeronautical engineering course at McCook Field, Ohio. In September 1922, Doolittle began taking pioneering flights. He made the first cross-country flight from Florida to San Diego, flying a DH-4 plane in 21 hours and 19 minutes. He was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross for this flight. James also earned a bachelor's degree in art from the University of California at Berkeley. In July 1923, he enrolled in the Massachusetts Institute of Technology for a special course in engineering. He graduated the next year with a master's degree in science. He became one of the nation's first doctors of aeronautics in 1925. In March 1924, Doolittle was stationed at McCook Field and assigned to conduct airplane acceleration tests. The following June, he was sent to Washington, D.C.'s Naval Air Station and was trained to pilot high-speed seaplanes. He also worked on the Naval Test Board located in Mitchell, New York, and began to rest his planes. He won the Schneider Cup Race World Series in 1925, piloting a Curtiss Navy racer fitted with pontoons, averaging a speed of 232 miles an hour, and was awarded the Mackay Trophy. In April 1926, Jimmy went on leave to travel to South America to teach demo flights. While in Chile, he broke both ankles, but kept flying. Returning home, he spent the next year recuperating in Walter Reed Hospital in Washington. Once recovered, he was sent back to McCook to fly experimental flights and to instruct the organized reserves of the 5th Corps 385th Bombardment Squadron. The next September, Doolittle was sent to Mitchell Field to develop fog flying equipment. He helped develop the artificial horizon as well as the directional geoscope. He flew the first flight using these instruments and was awarded the Harmon Trophy for the feat. In January 1930, James served as the Army advisor in the construction of the Floyd Bennett Airport in New York City. On February 15th, he resigned his commission, only to be commissioned as a major in the Special Reserve Corps in March. He began managing the aviation department of the Shell Oil Company and conduct military aviation tests. In 1932, Doolittle set the world record for landed planes. He won the Bendix Trophy race, piloting a Laird biplane traveling from Burbank to Cleveland. Piloting a GB Racer, he won the Thompson Trophy race in Cleveland with an airspeed of 252 miles an hour. In April 1934, Jimmy joined the Army Board to study Air Corps organization. In 1935, he transferred to the Air Corps Reserve, and in 1940 was elected the president of the Institute of Aeronautical Science. On July 1, 1940, Doolittle went back to active duty. He worked as an assistant supervisor of the Central Air Corps Procurement District. He worked in the cities of Indianapolis and Detroit to convert car factories to factories that manufactured planes. In August 1941, he was sent to England to gather intel on foreign Air Force buildup, and on January 2, 1942, weeks after the U.S. joined World War II, James was promoted to a lieutenant colonel and sent to Headquarters Army Air Force to plan the first American raid on the Japanese. Doolittle, with permission from his commanding officer, Hap Arnold, led what has become known as the Doolittle Raid on April 18, 1942. The raid did little damage, and the majority of the pilots, including Doolittle, had to bail before returning to the deck of the Hornet. Yet the attack boosted America's morale and caused the Japanese to divert manpower to air support. FDR awarded the raiders the Medal of Honor. In July 1942, James was made a brigadier general. Initially assigned to the 8th Air Force, he took command of the 12th Air Force in September. The following March, he became the commanding general of the North African Strategic Air Force. That November, he commanded the 15th Air Force in the Mediterranean Theater of War. From January 1944 to September 1945, he commanded the 8th Air Force in both the European and Pacific theaters. On May 10, 1946, now Lieutenant General, Doolittle was taken out of active duty. He returned to Shell and served first as the vice president, then as the director. In March 1951, Jimmy became the special assistant to the Air Force Chief of Staff and helped establish the branch's ballistic and space programs. Doolittle officially retired from the military on February 28, 1959. In civilian life, James worked as the chairman of Space Technology Laboratories and served as president of the Air Force Association. He wrote his own biography titled If I Could Be So Lucky Again, and on April 4, 1985, he became the first Air Force reservist to be appointed a 4-star general. James Doolittle passed away on September 27, 1993, after suffering a stroke. He was buried in Arlington National Cemetery. He was just shy of his 97th birthday. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Also check out the other episodes in this series. Thanks so much for watching.